They've taken a bit of time to gel as a group, learn the new game plan, but nudge last week's win over Port at Port shows that all that hard work is starting to pay off, and a win this afternoon could see them up into the top 8 and looming as a bit of a team to watch in the back half of the season.
I think we covered it off the top, Jace, that their form was always going to take a little bit of time just to smooth out, given this is a completely new team. So
here we go. Sevens VFL match of the day from Avalon Airport Oval, round 8 action. It's North Melbourne and Box Hill. Great to have you with us. Bruce in the ruck against Pitnet. Ball spills to Lovell, gets the first effective disposal of the game. Towards half forward. Ball hits the deck. North Melbourne have got some numbers. That's Nick Rippon in over the top of it. Ball worked inside 50. Lewis Cunningham tries to track it for the Roos. Gets it now. Gives off a little handball. Walker, kick partly smothered off his boot. Awkward bouncing football. North again with numbers, but Evans takes possession. He's dispossessed quickly. Spills to Kyron Hayden. And they work it out through Hibbert.
And it'll be Garner sending it to the outside. Walker, who is a speedster, pushes the kick to the advantage, not quite of Larky. He's got the one-on-one and happy to find it to the boundary. Did that ricochet off the boot of Caden Brand? Boundary umpire about 60 metres away, not on the scene to adjudicate, but North with their first foray into attack.
Thanks, boy. Keep that meter.
34 AFL listed players across the two lineups this afternoon. 18 for the Kangas, 16 for the Hawks. Bruce just shields it into a dangerous zone heavily. Just quick to get boot to ball, relieving Mark Taken, and a good one at that under pressure for Hanrahan.
So Ollie Hanrahan thinks about the switch. He's got 2 men on the members' side of the ground. This is Hams to Evans. Evans goes down the line and finds Daniel Howe. Howe towards the wing. That's a good, strong contested mark from Schoenmakers. Ben Mackay arrived late. Schoenmakers will kick to a wide open forward 50. Some space here for Warfel to work in. He's nudged off the football by Nielsen. Now Mackay has been in great form. Once again, the Roos off half back.
And it's end-to-end stuff early. Rippon's kick, push wide, Larky. Enjoying a fine start to the season. Impressed as a Werribee player last year. Bring it into the corridor. Ahern, the former Giant, looking for his AFL debut. That kick will help his task. Pushes it for Hayden, who slices the kick off. Caught behind with Zerha, did well to halve the contest. Needs some help, might get it in the form of Davies Uniacke. Evans, off the ground goes Lovell from the half volley. Williams, taken the ground and sat on. It's been a hot start, Ellie Blackburn.
Yeah, it really has been a hot start. I think North has started with one off the back of the square at that first stoppage, or first centre bounce. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for them.
North will be looking to get on top on the inside. Box Hill this season playing their usual possession-based, uncontested outside game. Lots of short kicks and handballs to retain possession. Also got the most efficient attack in the VFL to Box Hill. #1 at converting inside 50s into scores and goals. Very dangerous when they win the ball forward. Howe couldn't take control of it. Bruce, it was through his hands. Quick kick out of the pack from Hams. Pitch just inside the line. Schoenmakers can't keep it alive. The two lowest tackling teams in the competition. So it's going to be interesting to see if it is a free-flowing affair this afternoon. And also, Ali, the two top contested marking teams in the competition. So the aerial contest will be vital this afternoon.
Absolutely, it will be. It'll be you can get their hands on the ball first and get the ball moving forward quickly.
Ahern will do just that with the inside-out torpedo. Larky had separation. Brand has the ball and darts away because there's a fairly vacant Box Hill forward half here. Forced to go, the fist was O'Brien, dishes it off. Here's Nash, who's turned to goal kick of the Irishman. Handball forward, Schoenmakers. Right high without the mark to take. Athletic and safe in the end for Schoenmakers, and asking why that ball came into his vicinity in the way it did. Ryan Schoenmakers played the first couple of AFL games this season. He's coming off 3 goals last week against the Northern Blues. Williams gets the clearing kick, and here's Cunningham. He played a couple of games with Port Melbourne last year. His kick off the line and missing Larky, and this has been a frenetic start. Scoreless so far through the opening 4 minutes, but as we expected, in perfect late autumn conditions here at Avalon Airport Oval, the ball is zinging back and forth.
And Ellie, neither of these teams kick to marks on the lead all that often. North ranked 11th in the comp, and Hawthorn, or Box Hill, ranked last in the competition, and we're already seeing that so far today.
Yeah, they're just getting the ball out and just booting it forward as quickly as possible.
Lovell tries to spin out of trouble. Handball in the direction of Hams. He's under pressure. Received one high as he dished out a handball to Howe. So we'll come back to Will Hams. Harry Jones with the aggressive switch to Miles, who's got some speed. He's also got a man forward of the ball out on the wing. This is Moore. Shins the kick inside 50. That'll suit the North defence. Nielsen, Morgan, Hibbert a fumble. He's got Rippon in support. He clears from defensive 50.
The Liston Trophy winner to the 101, and again, Larkey winning the day. Getting his body in the right spot to take another mark. He's got options across the other side of the square. Decides to send it deeper inside 50 and did well. Just his body language cued the lead, and Zurhaar was there to present.
Yeah, he had the options to switch the footy then, but chose to drive it in and hit up a perfect target leading forward.
Well, Cam Zurhaar likes playing teams in these colours, namely Hawthorn. Kicked 2 against the Hawks at AFL level in round 20 last year, and then 2 in round 5. He's also reported that day for pushing now Hawthorn player, but of course former Box Hill captain Dave Mirra into the fence. He's a powerfully built unit, second year on the Kangas rookie list for Zurhaar, and starts the day with a major for the Roos.
Interesting prospect, Cam Zurhaar, isn't he, Ali? He's 189 and 90 kilos, and he really can do it all. He can lead, he can play as a crummer, he can take a contested mark.
Yeah, it's vital to have a player like that in your team that can do it all at that size. He's a really important player for this team, and you know it'll be interesting to see how he goes throughout the rest of the day.
A real hybrid forward as Murphy caught one high.
Straight up, let him up now. Yep.
Billy Murphy, averaging 13 touches a game this season. Kicked 4 goals against Frankston in round 2. Just pulls the kick towards Howe, and he marks 55 from goal. Dan Howe called to go. So he'll attack the top of the goal square. Pitnet's there, so's O'Brien. Pitnet almost brought it down. Nielsen, he was stripped of the football. Pressure being applied by Hanrahan, and he works it to the line for a throw-in. There's Nash Holmes, and there's Lewis Cunningham on the bench. Played 3 games with Port Melbourne last year. His first full-time season in the VFL, just receiving some treatment from the physio.
Handy acquisition for North in their first year as a standalone VFL side. There is Bruce hitting to advantage as we talked pre-game. The handball from O'Hearn was a dangerous one, and in the end it was Hogan, the 23rd man, seeing it out as we head boundary side to Nathan Templeton.
Yeah, Lewis Cunningham's about 2 metres away from me at the moment, so I'll just keep my voice down, but he's got a problem with the upper right leg, right up into the groin or the adductor there, so he's just been given a few painkillers, the physio trying to release it. He doesn't seem too disturbed. I think he'll be right to go back on.
Thanks, Nath. Straight from the Billiard commentary handbook, keeping the voice down.
Whispering Nath.
As North try and get it out of defensive 50, Walker paddles it. Riding the bump was Garner, forcing a quick kick for Williams. Getting to the front again, Larkey. Sticky hands this Saturday afternoon.
Such an impressive youngster, isn't he, Nick Larkey? 19 years of age from the Kew Comets and Trinity Grammar. He really is a player to watch. In his second year in the system, yet to play AFL, but a senior call-up not far away, you would think. Rippon to Morgan, former Bomber. And he works it to Ben Mackay. Mackay thumps it down the line. Prusey's target at the front. Over the top came Caden Brand with a well-timed fist.
And that was probably the first slow play we've really seen of the game so far. Both teams have been playing on, moving the ball really quickly, and they managed to switch the footy and get it up to halfway. They just couldn't get it past.
So Box Hill with 5 inside 50s to 3, but North neutralising them so far. Great work from Ahern out of traffic. Rifles the handball inboard for Hogan to the feet, and a kick smothered there from Hibbert. Can Box Hill turn it over in the forward half? Not on this occasion. Ahern another touch, works it forward. And the North attack are marking everything, and Zurhaar can consider himself in range here in these still conditions. No problems you'd expect for him to get the trip here. Spoke about his build, draw comparisons with the Christian Petrakas and those types of players. Zurhaar close to the man on the mark. It was a casual walk up to the mark, but absolutely no issues covering the distance. He's got 2, the Roos have 2.
And Ali, we talk about Cameron Zurhaar's ability to take contested marks. We saw it again there.
Yeah, it was a great lead-up mark, and you know his ability to fly and to kick that footy from 50 metres out and stroll in so casually, that's pretty impressive.
It's been an impressive start from North Melbourne. After 10.5 minutes, they lead by 2 goals. And they win another one out of the middle. Nash Holmes pumps it inside 50 again. Narrier almost couldn't quite hang on. Very dangerous looking forward line this afternoon for North Melbourne. Pitnet has it on the way out. He retreats to Brand. Uncertain of his options, so he goes short now to Hams. Not gaining any territory at the moment as North really shut them down. They've done a great job setting up that zone.
That was really good pressure by North, and that's what's getting them in front at the moment, is that their ability to turn the footy over and get it moving quickly for them.
Mackay does just that to take it into the corridor. Nash Holmes, Campbell Brown's man. No doubt he's tuning in from Alice Springs. Choppy kick at best, works off the fist. The advantage. Able to keep it in was Hayden, kicks to a dangerous position. Hawks there in number, trying to claim the mark was Garner, kept playing and kicks North's third. What great play.
So only 6 inside 50s for 3 goals for North Melbourne.
Yeah, they started off really well. I think their midfield are working really hard and getting the ball pumping forward, and they're taking risks and chances here, and that's what's working for them.
AFLW Premiership captain Ellie Blackburn joining us on 7 VFL this afternoon. Bruce in the ruck against O'Brien, and once again they win the clearance. Davies Uniacke swings it wide. Rippon towards half forward. Was Larkey dealt with unfairly? He was. And the Box Hill defence under enormous pressure early. Good quick direct ball movement coming in, suiting the North forwards, and there's plenty of talent inside that forward arc. Short ball to Jansen, the co-captain. Former Canberra product, spent some time at Central Districts, 3 years in the Sandful. Kicks to the pocket. It spills over off the hands of Andrew Moore. Box Hill captain, former Port Adelaide and Richmond player. So the Hawks just need to settle here. The Roos have jumped them early, and they lead by 3 goals.
Bruce will have this to himself, grabs it, kicks it, misses. Good awareness though for the ruckman with the shallow throw in, Ellie.
Yeah, it's handy when a ruck is really aware and can do things like that. Unfortunately, it didn't go through the big sticks for him this time though.
Casual entry, bring the ball back into play. So Caden Brand, who was part of the vanquish talks against the Brisbane Lions last Sunday, just going to try and take some ground. Nielsen off hands and eventually slips through the grass. Tim O'Brien, couple of games already completed and important ones in the Peter Jackson VFL. Richmond with a 10-goal last quarter to open up a 56-point margin on a gallant Coburg. Geelong and Williamstown. Handy win for the Cats down at GMHBA Stadium, and the Collingwood Magpies winning their 6th of the season. They kicked 8 goals in the final quarter to come behind and defeat Footscray. So Box Hill started the day 5-1, as did the Pies and the Tigers. Right now, the Hawks with a bit of work to do if they're going to stay in equal first.
So there's Braden Pruce in the ruck. He'll go against O'Brien again, gets it down to the front of the contest. Chris Jansen squares it up to the goal square. Free kick to the Hawks. They've been very indecisive with their ball movement from the back half. It's been a very effective zone from North Melbourne, putting the pressure on. Taya Miles manages to slip the tackle, gain a little bit of distance looking for Howe, but it's thumped over the line from Bruce. But Ali, the Box Hill defence really struggling to get the ball out of their own back half. Yeah, and you can see North setting up really quickly with their defensive zone. So I think Box Hill are really going to struggle to get it past it unless they're going to start to move it really quickly. They're taking their time moving it out and trying to have a bit more control, but it's just not working for them at the moment.
Moore's quick kick worked its way, a little banana forward, and again, North set up defensively. Easy relieving mark for Tom Murphy. What a great story. Went to train with their VFL side. Found himself on their AFL rookie list. Sends it deep, high flying, hands in the back. And that's going to be an easy shot on goal. And Anthony Brolick, who was part of the VFL Team of the Year last year, playing in defence today. And good that he's flying for his marks. Not good that he's putting hands into the back. It's going to be Tristan Cherry, local boy. He played a couple of games with Werribee last year, went on the Western Jets list. Grew up a North supporter, picked 72 in the AFL draft last year, and he's impressed so far in this North Melbourne VFL setup. 3 goals against Richmond back in round 6. A couple against the Northern Blues in round 2 here. And he's going to pile on more hurt, or no, he's going to miss left. So a couple of gettable chances in the last few minutes. It could quite comfortably be 30 points rather than the 20 where it sits right now.
So can Box Hill find a way through this North Melbourne zone? We mentioned earlier that they play an uncontested chipping around style of football. They like to switch, get uncontested possession off half-back and sweep forward. That's been Box Hill's MO for the last 5 or 6 years. North Melbourne know it, and they're stopping it right now. This is Lovell, receives the kick in, but once again, it's going to be slow delivery, and it's going to be long down the line to a contest. Nielsen just worked Nash off the line of the football. Again, they force a turnover. Not often you see Box Hill dominated like they've been at the moment. Cunningham. Now North do look to switch. They look for a bit of quick ball movement off half-back. Bruce on the bounce to Hibbard. He goes towards half-forward. 3-on-2 in favour of Box Hill. Good effort from McGannon, couldn't quite control it. Miles. Lovell. Jones under pressure. But only as far as Bruce once again. They've locked it in.
There is a wall at the moment across centre wing in blue and white stripes. Braden Bruce having a big influence on the game so far. Hawks elect to spoil rather than mark. Narrier spins through a couple. Another banana forward from Ahern. Roos present Garner.
Let's head boundary side. Nick Larkey joins us on the headset. Nick, thanks for your time. We know Box Hill like to play that uncontested style from the back half, but right now you guys are shutting it down.
Yeah, we went into the game with a focus on that. They obviously like to possess the ball off around half-back, and that generates a lot of their ball movement. So, yeah, if we can nullify that as much as possible, hopefully we get some good looks.
And Nick, how are you rotating in this forward setup with a fair bit of class such as this man, Taylor Garner, to work around you as well?
Yeah, it's good having Garns down there. We're actually missing Closey this week, but yeah, we've got a lot of blokes who can fill the role. Garns down there, Tristan Zeri, Cam Zerha all have an impact early, which is good.
And Taylor Garner adds his name to the score sheet. Margin now out to 26 points. Just tell us about the things you're trying to work on in your game at the moment. We saw you play a couple of AFL games.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta go.
Such is the way with the headset, but we appreciate both Nick Larkey and the Kangaroos access. Wonderful as part of our broadcast here on 7 VFL to have access to players in game, and unfortunately, they're the perils of the job.
Oh, priorities, Nick. Come on, we had one more question. Margin 26 points. He's straight back into the forward line, and it's been all Kangaroos. 4-2 to no score as we head towards time on in the opening term. What a start from North. They are completely controlling the tempo of this game. That bounce will be recalled. So, if you're Box Hill right now, Ali, what are you doing to try and swing this momentum back your way?
They almost have to drop a player behind and just slow North Melbourne's run at the moment. It's coming from their midfield, and they just can't get it out of there.
Once again, North do through Holmes. Quick entry inside 50. Zerha lurking. Collides with McGannon. Zerha strips him of the football. Tries to shrug a couple of tackles. Spills free. Heatherly. He's immediately tackled. Zerha goes again. Tries to bullock his way through. Now it comes to Brand. He receives from O'Rourke. Mackay couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Nash. So much pressure at the moment on Box Hill. Lovell floats a kick to Pitnet. Didn't do the big man any favours. Hayden beats him to the football. It's going to come back inside 50 once again for the Roos, and getting on the end of it is Will Walker. They are playing football equivalent of the full court press right now. They are right up in the faces of Box Hill, giving them no time and space to work in at all, and Walker a chance to go back and kick for his 4th goal of the VFL season. 19-year-old from the Hampton Rovers in East Sandringham. Played soccer all the way up until the TAC Cup, so a late bloomer, but he is a talent. He keeps it low and puts it through for another. The Kangas have got 5. Ellie, the Box Hill Hawks desperately need a reset in their back half.
They really do. If you have a look at these last 10 inside 50s, North Melbourne are really dominating it. They need to drop someone back and just steady the flow a little bit here. They can't get it past their halfway mark, and it's starting from the big man, Bruce, in the middle.
Spot on. He's had 10 hit-outs, 5 of them to advantage so far. So, as we suspected pre-game, he's giving his midfield silver service so far. And another one just dashed out of the hands of a hand by O'Rourke. A couple of former Giants playing on each other. Whitecross sends it deep. O'Brien flies. Knocked away at ground level. Lovell to the outside for O'Rourke. Try and slice this kick around his body. Mackay, well, he's been the colossus in defence for them so far this year, and another contested mark keeps the Hawks at bay. Shielding his eyes from the sun is Rippon. Enjoying the start to his time at Arden Street. Liston Trophy winner back in 2015 with North Ballarat. Prepared again to take ground. Larkey trying to insert himself into the contest. Off the fist of Heatherly to the fall. Jones, Lovell, Heatherly. Flipping handball for Whitecross. Wants some options, forced to retreat to find them. Gets it in the form of Brand. Narrier trying to cut the angles on this. Great courage from the young man. Put himself in harm's way, and even better, starts the turnover play. Mackay with a couple of bounces, has to check his kick smart. Junker over the top, running man inside 50. Walker! Oh, they're just wrapped in courage at the moment, these Kangaroos. And Will Walker can turn himself into the third multiple goal kicker so far for the Roos.
That was just a really impressive play then. Have a look at the courage here, just to back into a pack like that, knowing that a player's coming full steam at you is pretty impressive, and it's happened twice in the same play. It's just showing that North are really willing to put their bodies on the line more than Box Hill at the moment today.
Gordon Narrier's had one touch so far. You feel like he deserves 5 after a piece of play like that. One of the keys that this man, Will Walker's trying to work on is his kicking. Given he hasn't played a lot of football, we saw a nice shot for goal from right in front before, now from the angle. Pushes it across the face. Evans seeing it through. Kangaroos enjoying a fine start, probably their best start to their 7 matches so far this year.
Box Hill midfield needs to get moving. Some of their key ball winners need to win some of the football. O'Rourke's kick smothered. Open goal, Larkey. What a start from the Roos. Ellie, the panic is starting to build in the Box Hill backline. Great work from Nick Larkey, and he's rewarded with a goal.
It's just easy mistakes that they're making at the moment. Kicking into the man on the mark, it's a simple thing. And we've just seen then Sean Makers has just dropped behind the play as well. So, you know, Box Hill have gone into a bit of a panic mode at the moment, and they've probably tried to stem the flow of play here.
Well, as if North supporters weren't enjoying 2018 already. Morgan sends it deep. Larkey with a couple to beat was sandwiched. Numbers at the fall. Howe had to take on the contest. Great commitment to come through from Holmes. Gets boot to ball. Needs the bounce. Just works its way right. He is an absolute bull in the contest, Nash Holmes. 3rd in the competition so far this year for contested possessions. Now we see Ryan Schoenmakers, who's now the 7th man back for the Hawks.
They are playing inspired football, and that'll be a downfield free kick as Will Hams is put down. Caden Brand comes in to remonstrate with Tristan Cherry. It's going to be a free kick to Box Hill at half back. Let's head down to Nathan Templeton.
Yeah, you can see here on camera that Taylor Garner has some bandaging around his head. He's got a large cut on the back of his head. The doctor there has just been patching it up. It's obviously a tricky one to keep the bandaging on. A lot of blood coming out. That's right in his hair. So they're just working on getting that back on, but he doesn't look to be in too much trouble. They're just a matter of trying to keep that blood from flowing.
So another free kick to Box Hill. A rare opportunity to push into their forward half of the ground. They've been few and far between in this opening term. Inside 50s, 13-7, but it doesn't feel like Box Hill have been in anywhere near as much as that because it's come straight back out. Moore goes high to the pocket, but look at the numbers. It's all Kangaroos again. Davies Uniacke at the back couldn't quite control it. It's comfortably walked over the line by Junker. So can Box Hill manufacture something here? They trail by 40 points. They're 5-1 with an equal share of top spot so far this season. They have been blown off the park in the opening 26 minutes.
Zerha and Garner have a couple each. Another hit out to advantage from Bruce. And look at the North jumpers in the screen here. They're actually spoiling each other. Moore dishes it off to Lovell. Jones to the outside, Miles. Shimmies his way around Hibbard. Langford doesn't have a lot of goal face to shoot at. Disciplined kick. Bruce probably could have marked that ball. Definitely had the numerical and height advantage, but took the safe option.
We'll be taking you inside the huddle of Chris Newman at the Box Hill Hawks at quarter time. That's going to be fascinating listening. North Melbourne have just been more desperate. They've been better structured. They've taken the Hawks' strengths away from them in this opening term and played to their own as Morgan goes to Rippon. Quick hands, Nash Holmes to Brolick, but Holmes wins the football. Just thumps it long. This time Box Hill have got numbers in the right spot. This is Miles. Chance now for a quick switch to Moore. Can he look inside 50 and find a target? He's got Whitecross leading wide. Heads in that general direction, and Whitecross just drops back into the hole on Nielsen. And Box Hill will get their first shot at goal 27.5 minutes into the opening term. Quick switch the key.
Yeah, absolutely. They had players just quickly outnumbered on the other side of the ground, so they really needed to get the ball moving then, and it's the first time that they've actually looked damaging moving inside 50.
Here's Whitecross. 40 metres out. The veteran for a desperately needed steadier, and he's got it. Something for Box Hill to build on. And Ali, that was more like the Box Hill that we've come to know over the last 5 or 6 years. Quick switch, open forward 50, find a target.
Yeah, and it's what they've struggled to do so far today. North Melbourne's pressure has been enormous, so for Box Hill to only get one sort of inside 50 mark like that has shown how good North are today.
So the Hawks put a stop to the 40 Love scoreline. Davies Uniacke paddled it to the direction of Murphy. His tumbling kick over the head of Miles. Going one-handed was Heatherly. Hayden spun in the tackle. Clean was Cherry. Big fend-off applied from Garner, who's got the tape now around the head. Miles navigates his way out of traffic to release Schoenmakers. Can he steady them up from the back? Hanrahan couldn't find it. Brolick gave it back to him. Hanrahan forced to quick kick down the line. Bruce! He's been a dominant force so far.
That's something they need to avoid doing, just bombing it down the line, knowing that they've dropped someone behind the footy. They need to try and look and steady the targets.
As we said at the start of the day, the Hawks last in the competition for kicking to marks on a lead, but it's almost the style of game they need to play at the moment rather than just bombing away when you've got big players like Bruce and Mackay. And now the Roos will switch again. They've controlled this contest in the opening term. Murphy goes looking for Narrier, and he is all class. An excitement machine on this Kangaroos list. Gordon Narrier, the 19-year-old from Northam in WA. And what a first quarter from North Melbourne. They've made a big statement in the opening term here at Avalon Airport Oval.